So for those of you that have been following along on our homeschooling journey, you know that science has been one of those subjects that has just been a thorn in my side. We have tried so many different science curriculums. I am not pleased with any of them aside from Abeka. Abeka was really good, but it just got way too expensive. So we've recently switched over to science unit studies. Now the one that we're using is by a company called Schoolhouse Discoveries. It might be backwards in the camera. This is our first time using it. We chose the Life on the Farm unit. So this is an entire farming unit. All of the activities inside have to do with farming, growing your own food, kind of like a little homesteading unit. Super, super cute. I highly recommend. I'll be doing a lot more videos on this, but for today, I'm going to show you how we made our own homemade butter. So before we actually got into the butter making process, which you're about to see next, there's a little spot here where we read about making butter. We had actually been talking about it throughout the entire week, so this is not some new concept. This did a really good job of kind of building us up to this, and then actually making the butter. It was almost like a little celebration at the end, like, yay, we've learned all this stuff, now let's make our homemade butter. So let's get into it. Remember, for making butter, we need heavy whipping cream.
That should have had the handle on.
Where does heavy whipping cream come from?
A cow, but it's the fat.
And what happens to the milk inside your jar?
The fat goes to the top.
The fat rises to the top and then you get this thick fat on top. This is all the fat that was on top. So 2 hands. Shake, 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 shake. Gentle, gentle, careful. Good shaking. This is a look at the inside of the teacher's guide. This comes with all of the unit study boxes. I love how simple it is. After a while, our arms started getting tired, so we recruited some help. Before the heavy cream hardens into a clump, it'll actually transform into whipped cream first. Then if you continue to shake past the whipped cream stage, the fat will clump together to form a solid. This was a really cool way to demonstrate changes in matter for the kids.
Butter. See?
Once our cream turned into a clump, we strained out the excess liquid, and we learned that this excess liquid is actually the buttermilk that you can save for later to make pancakes. Once it was strained, we rinsed it with really cold water to get rid of any remaining buttermilk. Strainer. Both hands.
Squeeze it.
This is like too butter. Oh, wow.
Squeeze all, remember we want to squeeze all the stuff out, yeah.
Lucy, come here. Look.
Faith, you ready to come salt it? Pour the salt in. Shake it. Alright. Wow, babe.
Good.
It's so good. Wanna taste it?
That's so good.
Now, one thing that I'm really loving about this science unit study, which by the way, I never thought that I would want or enjoy doing science unit studies. Number one, a big issue that I've had with a lot of the science curriculums that we've tried is that they just require so much prep work. It was like every single day I'm trying to gather all these materials, figure out what the lesson is, and it was just way too much. So when you hear unit study, you think that's exactly what it's gonna be, right? Well, with Schoolhouse Discoveries, one thing that I love about this, I discovered them at a homeschool convention. They had little booths set up and they had their little unit study booklets with these boxes of little trinkets and toys. It looked almost like a sensory bin. Well, when you purchase one of these unit studies, all that stuff that comes in what looked like a sensory bin, that's included. For the farming unit, when the box got delivered to our house, we had our curriculum book, which this is like the teacher's guide, and then all of the little trinkets and the little farm animals and clay that we needed for a future project, like all the worksheets, everything's included. So when I open to our lesson each day, it tells me exactly what I'm gonna need for that day, what pages I need to rip out from their little included worksheets. If there are any extra materials, like for the making butter, for example, I needed to go get heavy whipping cream. All that's listed right in the beginning. So every week when I sit down to plan, I can just kind of write down what I need to go grab at the grocery, and then everything else is included within the unit. So there's really not much extra that I have to do. Now the irony of this is that this little unit study, this was supposed to just be kind of like a time filler while I explored and looked for a different science curriculum, because I felt like I needed something like Abeka or like the BJU Press, something where they're sitting down with a textbook. So we were just gonna only be doing this for a month or two while I discovered something else. However, we are loving this so much. We do it first thing in the morning. It's what we do together all as a family. It's not like I have it separated into grade levels or anything. And it's just so fun to start our day off with this. Some days it's a read aloud about a farm and then a little activity afterwards. Or just the other day we were making little clay vegetables, which I'm gonna be showing you in another video. Every day is different. So we start our day off with that before we move into our separate little learning stations, which I do have a video already posted on this channel of a full day in the life of our homeschool, where you can see how we kind of separate the day up between all 4 of my kids. With the science unit study, because it was something that was just going to be like a temporary thing, I didn't go get other unit studies. We're almost done with this farming unit study, so I'm actually going to go onto their website today, and me and the girls are going to sit down and we're going to pick out what our next unit study is going to be. And they have all different things on there. There's like ancient Rome, there's the tropical rainforest, like anything you could think of to learn about in science, they've got. History as well. So we're gonna do that today, and then I think we're just gonna keep with the trend of the science unit studies. I am gonna just forego all of my ideas about getting some big named curriculum with textbooks and things like that. I feel like this is way more meaningful. They are learning so much from this, and it's not too much prep work on my end, which is like super important when homeschooling multiple kids. So as always, let me know in the comments if you have any questions, if you want to see anything more from Schoolhouse Discoveries. I love them so much. This is not sponsored at all. They don't even know I exist. But I do think this is something that a lot of homeschooling families would benefit from. So if you have any questions about it at all, drop it in the comments, and I will see you next time.